up on MLG Metalopolis.
Yeah, MLG Metalopolis, a Zerg map that recently was I think removed from the map or the BattleNet matter BattleNet ladder map pool. Wow, tongue tied today. But I'm sure both of these Zerg players are enjoying the fact that they are playing on Metalopolis, but perhaps not in a Zerg versus Zerg. Since this is going to be the first map, these players will have an opportunity to play on it once more as the game does get underway. But what do you expect in this Zerg versus Zerg matchup where you do have forced cross spawns?
Well, because you do have forced cross spawns, there's not going to be any sort of close spawns. I'm not sure. Is it actually forced cross spawns or is it the same as the ladder map at this point?
It's the same
Yeah,
as
it
the
looks
ladder
like it's
map.
the same as the ladder. Yeah, so we're going to have close air spawns here, and both players are going to be able to get that Overlord into their opponent's base very quickly. And I've seen a lot of high-level players start hatch first in this situation, or even in cross spawn in ZBZ on this match, on this map. It's pretty far cross spawn, and knowing exactly when your opponent is putting down their pool, knowing exactly what they're doing, allows you to open up hatch first in these positions sometimes as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Both players, the overlords, are going to pass in the middle of the night. They're going to see what the other player is doing, as we see Daisuke spawning for VVV as the pretty in pink Protoss. And now we have Heaven's Light as the purple, not pretty in pink Protoss, pretty in pink Zerg. And
Alliteration just kept going there, Kodo.
yeah,
Pretty in pink Protoss.
yeah. And now we got the pretty in purple Zerg. So it's both PPZs for these guys. And these colors are just going to absolutely confuse me, and I'm sure of it.
All right, so both players at 13 drones at this point. Neither has put down gas or pool, so I imagine that we might be seeing a hatch from perhaps one of these players. And at this point, you sort of you're playing chicken with your opponent. If he puts down a pool, you can typically drone up one or two more drones, be ahead economically, and then put down your pool. If you see that no pool is going down and we're at 15 drones, then each player is going to send out their drone and they're going to make that hatchery. So yeah, we're going to have two hatch firsts here from these players. So should have a pretty decent macro game at the start. Gas is going to be a little bit delayed. The whole Baneling and Roach play going to definitely be delayed as well. So hatch first coming from both players.
Yeah, so in the Zerg versus Zerg now, we want to see what units that these players are going to be going for in the early portion of the game. Zerglings, Banelings, and Roaches all have their place in this matchup. Zerglings are generally strong against Roaches, Roaches strong against Banelings, and Banelings strong against Zerglings. Generally, that rock, paper, scissors that can really start to destroy the other army, especially if a Zerg player is not careful and misreads his opponent and doesn't get or does an extra round of drones as opposed to building an army. You can take a look at the production tab. Both players are currently just building the same exact things so far. Extractors going down near simultaneously, spawning pools, gas now being harvested, and I expect this to be a mirror match for about the next 2 minutes or so in terms of strategy, and then we may actually see some deviations.
Yeah, it's fascinating in these positions. So many times we're on the ladder playing and we don't have all the information we need, so there's coin flip situations. But in this matchup, we've got full information because of these overlords and positions, so both players know exactly what the other is going for. We see our first deviation, it looks like here, as we see double queens coming out for VVV's Daisuke, and it looks like the second queen was delayed a little bit for Heavens as he went for a few lings to start out. But yeah, so far so good. Both players pretty close in builds.
Yeah, we can see now a Heaven's Light moving out with these two Zerglings. One may stop at the Zelnaga Tower. No, just going to continue to run by and try to figure out what's going on. The Spine Crawler for Dasuki will be completed. The Zergling may be able to get up the ramp, but then he will have to deal with Queens in position as the Zerglings are now going to be going after drones. Is it going to really make much of a difference? One drone does get taken down, so Heaven's Light with the first blood.
Yeah, and it's even Harvesters 21-21, so Heavens was able to take down a drone there. That can be pretty big. Both players went for that initial Spine Crawler. That's going to allow them to defend against any sort of early Banelings, along with those Queens to block the ramp. Both players went for that. And now we see a Baneling nest coming out from Daisuke, so it looks like we just have Speedlings coming out for Heaven's Light, and Daisuke is going to counter with Banelings, and I'm not sure whether Heavens was actually able to scout that. It looks like he did not.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to split out that, but Heaven's Light is now getting 20 Zerglings while we see only 5 more drones coming in from Dasuki. So Dasuki is going to be on the defensive end, and he's going to have to be really, really careful. The Overlords are in position to spot a trail of Zerglings if they do make their way out. But if he does another round of drones, that's definitely going to be bad news for Dasuki, as Dasuki's not going to have a large enough army, perhaps maybe with Banelings and some really critical detonations as we now see the army move out.
Yeah, it looks like Heaven's going to try to take advantage of a timing here and basically hitting right as speed finishes. But we'll see whether these Banelings for Daisuke are able to get some good hits off. The ramp has been forfeit now by Daisuke as the Lings get a decent surround on Queens and drones now fighting. I'm not sure where those Banelings are. It looks like the Banelings are in the natural of Heavens trying to get some shots off on the drones, but that Spinecrawler takes down those Banelings and Daisuke has nothing to defend here, and there's the GG. A very quick ZVZ. Daisuke trying to get a little bit cute there, using those Banelings offensively instead of defensively, and Heavens just hit a nice timing with Speedlings.